What's up everybody and welcome to another Just Barely Reacting. I'm Asa Green River and we are waist deep into Summer Game Fest. The main show that's already happened, which was pretty great, and then Xbox had their turn yesterday. Obviously this isn't a live reaction. The old computer still isn't operational, but these are still very much my reactions, nonetheless, to everything that was shown. However, since this isn't live like usual, it's gonna look a little different than usual. It might feel a little bit more review-like, but that's fine. It's still my reaction to everything that we saw. But now that the pleasantries are out of the way, let's talk about Xbox. Clocking in at just under 2 hours with 30 games shown, this showcase was jam-packed. So I'm not planning to go deep on everything that was shown, as I'm trying to keep this as close to 10 minutes as possible. But I mean, it was almost 2 hours. So if I go over a little bit, that's fine. But like I said, don't be mad if there's some games that I don't really dive into, don't talk about. Doesn't mean that I don't have things to say. I'm just trying to keep this tight. The whole thing started off with Phil Spencer talking about Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and how it's going to be everywhere, and that at the end of the showcase, there's going to be a deeper look into the game and the behind the scenes. And then he kicked off the show, which, by the way, Xbox bookended this thing perfectly. The beginning and the end were both bangers, both of which also were a part of my hope to seize. So I was very, very happy with what I saw. But anyways, let's dive into the games. Listen, Doom 2016 was great. Doom Eternal was near perfect. Doom The Dark Ages, listen, I thought that no matter what, the next game, it's gonna continue that level of greatness. It's gonna continue to be an amazing franchise. I didn't expect them to go this hard. I knew that there were some leaks that they're gonna be going back into the Dark Ages, it's gonna be into like medieval times, and I thought, oh, okay, like it's still gonna be sick, but I didn't expect it to go that hard. Doom The Dark Ages, along with so many other games that they've shown, literally look like they're gonna be Game of the Year in 2025. I can't get over how good this looks, and I cannot wait to play it. And if it didn't start off hard enough, they moved on to the next game, which was State of Decay 3. Another one that I didn't expect to see. With all the stuff that was going on with Undead Labs, I was shocked. Now, it wasn't gameplay, there wasn't many updates, but it was one of those little nods to let you know that they're still working on it. Which, for me, as a big State of Decay fan, I was incredibly happy to see that. And the cadence overall for the entire showcase, I have to add, was pretty good. Like, it was hit after hit after hit. Anytime that they brought in somebody to talk about a game, it wasn't for too long. You didn't feel like you had these big lulls. It felt like it carried itself pretty well. I do have a list right here of the other games that I want to bring up real quick because like I said, I'm not going to deep dive into everything, but in those games, we saw the new DLC for Starfield. Looks fantastic. Looks like it's going to bring me back into Starfield. Age of Mythology Retold. Super psyched to see that. The Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred DLC looks terrifying as hell, but still looks like a lot of fun. Fallout 76 getting some new content. And then there were like a handful of games that looked alright to me. Like Flintlock looked okay. Atomfall looked okay. Expedition 33, a lot of people are really hyped about that, as they should with all these games, but looked okay to me. I'll be happy to see more. Wu Chang, new Sea of Thieves content. Again, these were all like cool things to see. They were fun. Were they my biggest thing? No, but they were other people's, which is fantastic. Flight Simulator 2024, also World of Warcraft, new expansion coming. That's great because I didn't think they were ever going to get any new content. Now let's get into some of the games that I was super psyched about. Starting off with Indiana Jones, I thought that trailer was perfect. That had such a good Indiana Jones feel about it. It felt like it was one of the movies. So I'm really, really excited to get my hands on that. Elder Scrolls, The Gold Road. I'm a huge ESO fan. You should be playing ESO if you're into MMOs or in the Elder Scrolls universe. Getting another look at Assassin's Creed. I'm not gonna lie to you, when they were showing that video, I was like, is this Tenchu? And to see that it was Assassin's Creed, I was like, are you kidding? The gameplay looks like it's gonna be fire. So really excited to see more today with Ubisoft's forward of Assassin's Creed. Stalker 2. Listen, Stalker 2 has not been on my radar. I've not really cared too much every time I've seen it. But after watching it yesterday, is it my game of the year? No, but I'm interested. It looked, they had my attention with that gameplay reveal. Winterboro, if you have cute little anthropomorphic mice, listen, I've talked about how I love cute creatures, especially cute creatures in a fantasy setting. Winterboro looks great. Also, shout out to Magic the Gathering, gonna have Bloomborough later this year in August, so having all of the burrows, all of the animals and fantasy whatnots, love it. Love it. Life is Strange, seeing Max come back, was not expecting that. And now I have to go back and finish all of the other Life is Stranges because I need to know how we got here. Like, how is Max fitting back into the fold? Avowed. Every time I see Avowed, again, I'm like, let's play this game right now. I don't understand why they didn't put the date in the showcase. At least I don't remember seeing it. I saw it after the fact, but it's coming this year. Like, Avowed is coming in like September or October. That game is going to be a slay. Then of course, Metal Gear Solid Delta. If you look at the old game, it still looks great. It still holds up, but the updated visuals and the updated gameplay, this game, wow. I'm so ready to relive that adventure. Even though I just replayed it for like a third time not that long ago, Delta looks phenomenal. I'm gonna say that word a lot. I can't remember if I brought it up, but there is a game called Mecha Break, and the reason that I want to say it right now, it looks cool. Devs worked hard on it. People are gonna enjoy it, but give me Mech Assault. Like, come on, Xbox, like, give us a new Mech Assault game. This is fine, this is gonna be cool, but we want Mech Assault. We do. But okay, Fragpunk. Fragpunk looked pretty sick. At first I was like, oh, here we go. We got another Concord, we got another hero shooter, something that is gonna, but then they started bringing out the cards. And then when they crushed the cards, it changed the effects of the battlefield. It changes the way the players look, give them the big head mode, or it changes the way that the game plays. And if you throw in a trading card aspect, done. I'm there. Fragpunk looks sick. Dragon Age, the Veilguard, formerly Dreadwolf. There were so many games that they showed in the showcase that I was like, do I want to replay the entire series to lead up to this game? I don't have that kind of time, but I want to. And Dragon Age is one of those. I want to go back and replay 1, replay 2, replay all of the, like, Awakening, replay all of the Dragon Age games to get ready for Veilguard. Now let's talk about a game that Xbox showed that I've never heard of. I've heard of the developer, but I did not know this game was being made, and I didn't realize that they were going to be making probably my game of the year. Mixtape. Wow. I can't tell you how many times I've watched that trailer, and I can't tell you how many times you need to watch that trailer. Mixtape looks like the perfect vibe. The Artful Escape was one of my favorite games of 2021. The whole aura of Mixtape is 10 out of 10 goodness to me. I am now going to be counting down the days, like so many of these other games shown in the showcase. But Mixtape, wow, that's going to be my personality for a minute. Now let's talk about South of Midnight. When the game was first shown, I was fully on board. I had no idea gameplay-wise what it was going to look like, but I love the aesthetic, I love the feel, I love the music, I love everything about it. But now that I've gotten to see more gameplay courtesy of the showcase, Compulsion Games, I don't know what you're cooking over there, but it's magic, because South of Midnight looks like so much fun, and I've seen my circle of friends in the gaming industry really hyped about it, but I need everybody as a whole. The whole gaming sphere needs to really latch on to South of Midnight, because I could see this being a franchise that stays for a... Now again, I don't know the story beats and how it's going to work, but I could see more entries in, because I want to live in that world. That needs to just be a part of Xbox's ecosystem moving forward. And I just really, really hope that it's not going to end up like ReCore, where there's like a few hardcore like group of us that enjoy it, but the masses aren't playing it. Please play South of Midnight when it comes out. Okay, these last 3 games, they are something very special. I'm very excited about. I don't know which one I want to talk about first and which one I want to talk about last. Okay, let's talk about Gears of War. So I told you that they bookended the showcase perfectly. The beginning, Doom. The end, Gears of War is coming back. And it's not Gear 6. I mean, number-wise, there was no number put on it, so people saying that Gear 6 is going to be E-Day, like that they're interchangeable, I don't think that's the case. I think this is going to be a situation similar to Gears of War Judgment, where it's a side game within the series, but this is going back to the beginning. This is a prequel. We're going back to Marcus and Dom. To see Dom again, to see them both younger, gritty, like Marcus fighting that Locust, getting thrown around like a rag doll, the dark feel, seeing the city, like the fact that we're going back to E-Day. I understand that, a lot of people, they want to know what's going to happen with Kate and what happened with Gears 5. A lot of people like, why are we going back to E-Day? Why are we rehashing this? Listen. There's a lot of reasons why I think we're doing this, but number one, the game looks phenomenal. It's going to be incredible. And I think it's going to be really important to the Gears lore as a whole. But you got to think about it. Like, it's been a little bit since Gears has been around. And even though Gears 4 and Gears 5 were great, I feel like aside from the hardcore fans, the general population was not as hot on those as they were the original Gears trilogy. So a way to pull people back into Gears, play E-Day because you know that's going to pull everybody back in, and then release 6 once you've got people hot on Gears, because Tactics didn't do that for people. It did for some of us who love XCOM and love Gears, but 5 didn't do that. So bring people in with E-Day, now put out 6, now people want to stay in this universe, and more than likely what you're gonna see is with E-Day coming out, you're gonna see people going back like me, replaying the whole series, playing 4 and 5 again, or perhaps after playing E-Day, hey, I want more Gears. Now they're going back and replaying, and now you've got a better lineup or a better chance to set up Gear 6. So really excited about Gear 6. I think that this is gonna be the best move overall. I think you should get hyped too. Next game I'm gonna talk about is Fable. I have so many feelings about this. I think the overall trailer was really good, okay? I love all Fable. 1, 2, 3, the pub games, Legends, the Connect game, I think that was Legends. The Fable universe, it is so special to me. I could listen to the Bower Stone like theme over and over and over again. So I kind of was getting a little bit of those vibes when watching this trailer, but honestly, I was feeling more like Witcher than I was the lighthearted feeling. Right? And another thing is I see a lot of people talking about the protagonist that they were showing in the trailer. Now, if anybody's ever played Fable before, you make your character. Like, the story is about you. You make your decisions along the way, whether you're going to be bad, if you're going to be evil, you know, are you going to be virtuous, or are you going to be a deviant? No matter what it is, it's your character. So for them to be going, you know, really hard, you know what? 1, 2, and 3, they showed somebody as the protagonist, but it still was pretty known that you're making your own person. So that has me, it felt very dark, right? Like, it felt very dark. And Fable can be dark at times, but overall, Fable doesn't feel dark to me. Like, Fable feels like high fantasy or light fantasy, not dark fantasy. So, you know, we'll see. I'm a little apprehensive, but I'm optimistic because I don't think they're gonna put out a bad game. I just don't know if it's going to really fit into the Fable universe, or if it's just gonna be a fantasy game that has some funny moments and funny dialogue that's called Fable. You know what I'm saying? So we really gotta wait and see how that's gonna flesh out. I might talk about that more because I've got more thoughts popping into my head, but like I said, trying to keep this a little bit tight and jumping from game to game. Now, the last game that I want to talk about was not the last game that was shown, but it's probably one of the most exciting games to me in this whole thing, and that was Perfect Dark. Woo! I can't wait. I'm a huge Perfect Dark fan, and especially after hearing the news earlier this year that the game was in bad shape, the studios were having troubles. I was like, shoot, Perfect Dark might get canceled. But then they showed it. I did not expect to see it in the showcase, and then it was there. And not only was it there, but they showed gameplay, they showed more, they showed Joanna. Couple things of feedback. Number 1, I really hope there's gonna be a subtitle. Don't just call it Perfect Dark. I don't want it to be a reboot. I think you can continue the story moving forward. And I also hate the trend of just like, you know, Doom 2016, we call it Doom 2016. We call it Spider-Man 20 whatever, you know, like, but it's just called Spider-Man and it's just called Doom. But there were other games with that name that came out before, and it's not necessarily erasure, but sometimes it can kind of feel like that. So I hope that they really, you know, put something underneath, put a nice little tagline, whatever. They had those 2 little dots, which to me tells me that there's gonna be something that they're gonna put on it, but no matter what, I really love what Perfect Dark does when it comes to pushing the envelope. To me, I associate it with doing something different. Like, especially the one thing that I'll say is, you know, in the first Perfect Dark on Nintendo 64, you know, they put in a game mode that I really don't recall seeing anywhere else. You know, you've got your couch co-op, but what Perfect Dark did was counter co-op. So one player is playing as Joanna, playing the full storyline, while the second player is playing the henchman. When they die, they respawn as one of the henchmen within the game. You know, like they're trying to stop the player from progressing through the story. That's wild to me. I can't believe that exists. People often say that GoldenEye is the best shooter on Nintendo 64. They're dead wrong, because it's Perfect Dark, and it always will be Perfect Dark. Listen, that was a lot of rambling, but this is a reaction, kind of, sort of. But I think the Xbox Showcase was fantastic. I think they really nailed it. I think they did a great job. However, I'm not going to give it the 10 out of 10 that everybody seems to be giving it. And that, for me personally, is because the interview on IGN Plays where Ryan McCaffrey was interviewing Phil Spencer Spencer, and, you know, they're going through talking obviously about a bunch of different things, a bunch of different games, but Ryan brings up the subject of all the layoffs. And as many people have known, Phil Spencer very famously said in an interview on Kind of Funny, they're never going to stifle creativity. You know, he doesn't want to stop people from making the games that they want to make. And then to see their actions do something completely different by shuttering a studio like Tango Gameworks. Obviously, they, you know, there were a lot of layoffs within Microsoft and Xbox, but Tango was the one that seemed to like really hurt the most for a lot of folks because they did Hi-Fi Rush, a game that nobody saw coming that was revered. It did really well. But then they shut the whole studio. They didn't even like take the people and put them on different projects. No, they just said, bye, you're all gone. Like, I feel like there has to be other options. You know, if you have to run a sustainable business, which, by the way, he gave the most non-answer that I've ever seen. But like, if you want to run a sustainable business, find a way to move things around. Like, don't lose that talent. Don't have that bad look, because a sustainable business is also not going to shortchange their fans. And I feel like by doing something like that, that makes us a little bit nervous. So there was this weird taste in my mouth the whole time throughout this showcase that I'm like, oh, this looks sick. But man, that studio could get shut down tomorrow. You know, there was somebody who is, you know, famously known for talking about Xbox who said, you know, before the showcase, this is going to be a 9.5 out of 10. But now seeing everything that happened and everything that Phil said, I think that that's the highest that they could ever get. Like, I don't think that you can have a 10 out of 10 without addressing the problems at hand. Now, like, listen, I'm not running a giant world corporation. I realize that capitalism is at play, but I feel like that there, like I said before, there are so many different options that they could be doing to help, you know, pinch a penny or fix their bottom line, but also keep that creativity going. I said this on Level 1 Gaming a couple weeks ago, but like, you need to bring your hardcore fans back. Like, it seems that they're hearkening to the 360 days, and that's great. This is a positive step. This is a positive movement. That's fantastic. But the other thing that comes with cultivating a strong community is building trust and building your belief bank in the developers that are building that community. So, you know, I don't want to end this on a sour note, but that's just something that stuck with me the whole time I was watching, and is I think going to be prevalent for me throughout, you know, the next couple years as we see these games come out, and, you know, we just kind of wait to see what's going to happen. You know, overall, like I said, this has been a fantastic showcase, a wonderful showing for Xbox. If I had to give it something out of 10, I'd definitely not giving it a 10, but I could easily give it a 9. I could even, you know, maybe even get a 9.5 if I really wanted to push the limit, but I feel comfortable giving it a solid 9 out of 10. Fix the issues behind the scene, give us a little bit more honesty, and you know what, maybe some of those people up top, they can, you know, cut some of their check to give some people down below a little bit more money to make their games. I don't know. I'm saying things now. But anyways, let me know what you thought of the Xbox showcase in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you wouldn't mind liking it, possibly even subscribing, possibly even sharing this with some of your friends. But no matter what, I appreciate you. Thank you for taking time to watch this, and be well, Borderline family.